And just to give a background to the viewers about this particular conversation with Mr. Satyamurthy. See, now I think what's been happening is the usage of software in Indian manufacturing companies has not been really taking up for a very long time. And India is the powerhouse of software for the whole world, but still the Indian companies have not been using it to the fullest potential. And as we know, Indian manufacturing is not very high on productivity internationally. Okay, I think it is ranking something more than 100, I think, in terms of productivity, labor productivity, people productivity in the world. So definitely, I think software is something that can help in improving the productivities in the companies, manufacturing companies. So in the last 2-3 years, I think while COVID has been a bad thing, definitely without any doubt, but it is accelerating the interest of companies in improving productivities, which is a good thing. Okay, so I can see that many companies now are showing a little bit more interest. So I thought this is the right time to have this conversation and then share it with our friends in manufacturing. So there may be some people who are watching this live interview, but we'll also be posting this video later on. So hopefully, I think it will reach more people, and then the debate on usage of software will increase, and then more companies will come forward to improving their productivities using the software. So this is the background for this, why this subject we are discussing now. And if I may start with my questions, Satyamurthy. Now, I think one of the foundational softwares in every company is the ERP, and Indian companies, I would say some companies have introduced ERP in their companies probably even 30 years back, 25-30 years back. So how do you think Indian manufacturing companies are using ERP? What are your views on that?
Yeah. While selecting ERP, many companies, right? ERP is, as you told, during this COVID situation, they started to use the software and other things. At the same time, when people are selecting ERP, they're selecting ERP by selecting a best ERP in the market. They're selecting ERP which is having maximum features. It is like selecting a shoe by seeing the attractiveness of the shoe, not considering our legs. Then we are cutting our legs to fit into the shoes. But instead, we have to buy the shoe which is suiting to our legs.
Okay.
So the ERP company is also providing a lot of things, right? The ERP is benefiting the organization. Like this, a lot of claims are there. From the view of features and also from the view of the best practices, what they have in system, that is true. But practically, when you're the implementation, this is partially true only. Unfortunately, 20 to 30% of companies only get this kind of benefit from the ERP. 70 to 80% of the manufacturing companies are not getting these benefits. Because those 20 to the percent of the companies, they are preparing well, and also they are adopting the features and they are selecting the right ERP for them. But other people are just selecting with the wrong selections they are doing. Also, you may be surprised to see that when people are implemented a very advanced ERPs, say like SAP or Oracle, they don't have a basic understanding of what is a planning process, what is a master data parameters, and their inventory accuracy will be surprised to see it is 60 to 70%. And they are here, they are running corner to corner to find out the materials, the right materials. Also, they are generating a lot of reports. The decision makings are based on Excel files, and they have thousands of emails using into the system. And in fact, more than these tier 1 or tier 2 ERPs, the tier 3 ERPs which are made locally to suit them, that is working fine for many manufacturing companies. The tier 1, tier 2 people are just buying it. They are claiming that they have a good ERP, but they are not using it the right way. This is how they are using it. At the same time, where the ERPs are implemented properly with the right approach, they are getting a lot of benefits also. Like they are taking fact-based decisions. They are also improving their visibility of orders. They are improving their forecast, and they are reducing the lead time. and they are integrating the shop floors, and they're also integrating ERP to Industry 4.0. All these improvements they are doing with ERPs. And these improvements are helping organizations to develop the products in a very short lead time, and also improve their market business, market reach, and also improve their profitability and productivity. And they have improved cash flow. They are getting benefits, but it is only 20 to 30%. But 70 to 80% they are not using it properly. So this is how they are doing it. By now, when I just mentioned about Industry 4.0, because you are interacting with various organizations and also various industry leaders, I just want to understand how companies are using Industry 4.0.
Yeah, I think the Industry 4.0, it's been, I would say, been there for quite some time in the world, but I think in India, perhaps in the last 4 to 5 days, people are hearing more and more about it. So in the seminars and so on, I think people are exposed to this subject. I would say in the last 2 years, I think many more companies have come to know about it. I would say in trying out any new concept, I think at least there'll be 3 steps. One is first they need to have the knowledge. Then they need to try it out somewhere, okay, maybe a model area, and then maybe a full-scale implementation. So I would say the knowledge part of it, I would say probably right now my experience is about 50 to 60% of the companies have heard about it, and then they have heard something good about it, okay, and maybe about 20% of the companies perhaps are trying it out in a small area. So again, this trying out, there are 2 ways in which they are doing it. One is if it's a new factory, if they are setting up a new factory. I've seen companies who are taking the risk to sort of go with a very high productivity. They're aiming at a very high productivity compared to the current plant. They're trying to go for 5 times, 10 times more productive, and then using Industry 4.0 also in that. So this way, if it is a new factory, definitely I think I see some companies, good number of companies I would say, are trying out this, going for the Industry 4.0 implementation. If it is a brownfield, that is existing factory, then I see that many companies are trying out in a small area, maybe 1 machine, 2 machine, connect it up, get the data, and then try to use that. But in all this, I think what's been happening is the people part of it. The people learning about it, people applying it, and then taking some benefit from that. I think there the companies are far, far away from being in a good position. Okay, so they have to train their people much more, because right now I think the people element is holding the benefits back from the Industry 4.0 implementation. But I'm still happy that many companies are knowing about it, and then they are trying it out, okay, which is good. And I would say maybe COVID is having some effect on that, because some of the companies had to go with zero top line for a couple of months. So they have understood, saying that what is it to carry a big number of employees. Correct. So I think that's what has been my experience on Industry 4.0, Satyamurthy.
Yeah.
So now taking it forward, what we have been talking about, the ERPs. Now, you said many companies are not using the ERPs properly, especially even the better ERPs, the Tier 1 ERPs, I think they're not using it properly, they're not taking benefit properly. So how do you think an ERP implementation should happen? Okay, so that the company can get full benefit from the ERP. What's your views on that?
Right. So, based on my experience, when companies decide to implement ERP, they should do right things right first. That should be the approach. The philosophy has to be the right things right first from the beginning. So, a comprehensive, planned selection of ERP is very important. Selection of ERP itself. As I told, you should not buy ERP then fit into organization. You have to do thorough analysis of what is the business need. Then they have to decide which is the right ERP for them. And there should be a clear foundation with a strong expertise which is required. So there are multiple steps involved before starting the ERP implementation. These steps may take 4 to 12 months depending on the size of the organization. It's not that they can do the preparation 1 month or 2 months. They decide on ERP and start working on this. It may involve a lot of steps. So probably some of the steps I just tell now so that we can understand what are the things. The first question is, why the organization need ERP? Probably they can manage without ERP also. Maybe it is small scale company, or they want to grow and their current systems are not supporting them properly, or they want to expand their products. They want to achieve something more than what they have been made, 2-fold, 3-fold, like this opportunity. Then they can go for ERP. So they have to prepare a clear business plan and for this ERP. And if they continue to work, because many companies, they continue to work in Excel. Excel is a broadly used ERP in the world nowadays. There is broadly, only thing we don't have any vice president Excel in any company. Otherwise, Excel is used in such a way. Right? So there should be like a proper selection of ERP. Right. Second is, there should be unbiased expertise team to support this activity. They should have internal team. If required, they should not hesitate to take the external support to work on this ERP selection. That is another, because there are hundreds or even thousands of ERPs in the market. So which is the right ERP for the organization? The organization should work very deep. Maybe the internal knowledge may not be sufficient. They should accept it. They should not hesitate to go for external support, because this investment they are doing it for the future. So that is a second step. The third one, they have to determine what is the IT strategy. So when you think about ERP, it doesn't mean that we have to implement a single ERP. They can go for best of breed ERPs also. Like for sales, they can use the Salesforce as one of the ERPs. Or for planning, there is a separate ERP. For manufacturing, there is some separate ERP. They can get these kind of different kind of ERPs also. But when we go through the processes, when we go through their business requirements, we'll be able to identify those requirements. So it doesn't mean that they have to go for directly tier 1 or tier 2 ERPs. They can go for even local made ERPs also requiring to them. So they have to understand these strategies clearly, and also whether they want to go for on-premise or on cloud, or any industry-specific ERPs are available. For example, there are chemical processing industries, there are specific ERPs. There are textile manufacturing companies, specific ERPs are there. I think they have to select for industry-specific also. And then they have to build ERP selection team. Like as we told, with the external team, internal team, they have to have a selection team. There you have to involve right from the top management until the people are deciding, who are affected by the system. Because ERP is not an IT project, it is a business project. So they should involve other business heads to select the ERP. And then they have to define which are all the business requirements. What are all the business needs they need to address through this ERP. They have to list out what are all the requirements, what are the processes. The requirement gatherings have to be done through proper like a workshop or some preparations. Because many organizations, they start to write their processes only after the ERP partner is coming into the scenario. But that is where many of them are failing also. So they have to start prepare this process. That's what is taking 4 to 12 months. Even one of the companies which I am now dealing with now, they told that they implemented one of the top class ERPs, but they failed. We cannot blame the ERP partner. It is their preparedness only, I can say. So now they start from zero and work on this, how to prepare it. So this is another thing. So preparing and not preparing is very important. So during preparation, they should focus on what should they need instead of how to do it. Because what should they need that is the expectation from the organization. How to do is that what the ERP partner, they will do it. How to do it. We have to leave it that how to do it to them. But we need to ask what do we need. That is very important thing. Also, we have to list out the things like we have the runner, repeaters, changer, like middle classification. Here also business requirement will classify like a mandatory or what are the value added things, what are all the nice to have. These things we have to segregate. We have to put them into order, which are the things we have to bring in immediately, which are the things we can take it later. While collecting these requirements, for sure we can see a lot of opportunity to improve the business processes. So we have to understand which are all the business pain points, which are all the issues which are facing, where we don't have visibility, where we can optimize the processes, where there is no roles and responsibility, clarity is not there. Those kind of things we have to understand. So we have to do the business process re-engineering. That's very important. And we have to define the scope of the project from these things, because defining the scope is very important. Once you define the scope, as the project is going on, there should not be any scope creep to happen. That is what is mainly pulling in many organizations. Scope creep should be stopped. So these are various things during this selection. And then determine the data strategy. This is also one of the things which many companies are missing. When I was working in Henkel, before starting the project, they had a project called International Data Harmonization, IDH they called it as a project. The main activity is to streamline the material codification, vendor codification, all this across the world. They wanted to, because Henkel was in around 20 countries. They wanted to make it them uniform. They shared all the chemical formula of the materials. Like this, they shared it, they made the uniform. That is very important. Unless we make the data clean and migrate them properly, that is where we are going to end up with a problem. Again, accuracy also. Again, one is this, what are the business needs of data? Another is the ERP need of the data. The ERP need of the data that can be supported by the ERP partners. When they come, they will tell how to do it. By training, you can get it. But the business details, like what is the lead time, what is the strategy to follow, what is the stock level you have to maintain, those things has to be maintained by the business users. That is very important. They should have the clear knowledge about it. So now, by defining this process, by defining the data, then you have to go for select the right ERP, considering what is the industry application and what is the reputation of the ERP, what is the viability of the ERP, and also what is the cost of implementation, what is the cost of maintenance. Those things have to be considered. And then you have to select some multiple ERP partners, maybe 7 or 10 partners you have to select. Then we have to do a systematic approach. Like we will give the requirements to them. They have to present whether they understood our requirements or not. And then we have to evaluate them, how they are understanding our process. So here, initially itself, we should not focus on cost. We have to focus on how they understand our requirements. And then how they are giving the solution for these requirements. Those things we have to follow. Then we have to ask them to do some demonstration. And then we have to select the right partner. And defining processes, selecting the partner, these are the steps. Then we have to go for change management. Because people should understand, okay, this is the way we are doing now, but this is the way we are going to do in future. That also we should build in from the beginning. Doing this project itself, we have to do it. And finally, there should be a clear thought process. What we are going to do after go live of this ERP. Many companies are stopping with the go live, that ERP implementation done, but it is not that. It is not the end point. That is the beginning point. So now the purpose of implementing ERP is to gain some benefits. Are we gaining these benefits? Are we improving the efficiency? Are we getting the required objectives what we started the project? Those things we have to define. So these are the steps we have to follow so that we can implement the ERP successfully. This is how many companies are, that many means that 20-30% companies are implementing the ERP, they are getting the success. But some companies were interacted, they are not prepared well at all. Then finally they are ending up with blaming either the partner or the ERP product, but they are not showing the fingers to us. Yes.
Absolutely. I think what you're saying is the company has to approach it in a very systematic manner. If they try to sort of do it in a very quick and using some shortcuts and all that, I think it doesn't work. Okay. I think you're very clear as to how to make a successful implementation. I think that was a very good points that you have highlighted. Now, like what you said, only 30% probably are succeeding. Okay, and now maybe about 70% are not realizing the benefits and so on. Now, why does it happen? Why these implementations are failing? What is that the company should look out for?
Yeah, so normally when they implement ERP, the first point, people treat it as IT project. Even I am now interacting with one of the customers who are calling me and another customer calling, because they initially they dealt with the ERP project with IT team only. They did not involve the business team. They treat it as IT project. But any ERP or any software, any automation, these are business requirements. So there should be a clear business case. So they are not lacking ownership from the business leaders. Business managers are not spending time when they are defining what is ERP requirement, and they leave it that IT will take care of it. They think that it is like a miracle. When they put it, they will get the results. Right? That's what the magic wand they think. Once you put it, they will give it everything. And also they perceive that the ownership from functional managers, it is lagging. This is happening in many projects. And then the second point is the scope creep. Because we start with this is the scope. And then when the people are knowing that this is coming, they want to have, I want to implement this, I want to implement that, there, I want to do this, there, I want to, like this scope creep is there. And the improper definition or poor definition of business requirements. This is the scope creep part. Because they did not define it, they are creeping the scope. That is the second point. Third point is ineffective change management. because people should know that any change when it is coming, because when you bring ERP, that is going to be operated by the end users, and also the people are leading these things. They should know what is going to happen to them. Without their knowledge, if you bring any system, though it is a world-class system, for sure you are going to have the resistance. So like when we are riding the bike first time, putting the first gear, second gear, we are struggling. Then we are practicing it or getting it. Similarly, when they get a new system, they will fail to understand the system and they will put a lot of resistance. Then instead of focusing on how to use the product, we will focusing on managing the people. That is what we ending up with the issue. That is the third point, change management. Lack of full time. Because when they bringing ERP, they don't give the good people to the project. Normally, when I bring SAP or any other ERP, the first requirement is give us the best people, because we are investing into the future. Absolutely. We need to get the best people for this project. Instead of that, they keep the best people for regular project. They give some weak people for the project. That is also failure because they don't understand this. And also top management involvement is not the big. Top management, many companies, they just think that they once they approve the budget, the job is done. They have to be involved in each and every decision. They have to move some key points. They have to take some guidelines to the people. Those things they have to get involved. Then the poor data management, where they are giving less importance to the data. Another, there is no standardization of data. In the same company, they may have 4-5 manufacturing units. The same screw they will call in different ports in different plants. When they are buying the screw, they will buy the same different vendors with the same screw. They end up with paying more or paying different prices in different companies. Like this, I just telling a simple example. And then implementation approach. When they take the implementation, whether we go for big bang or module by module, that is approach, because it depends on size, depends on complexity, it has to be decided. And also the resource constraints. Resource means again people allotting the time. They may allocate the people, but they don't give the people when the project is going on. This also many projects I suffered. They allotted people, they don't give the people for their time. And then too little training. Training is not provided to the people, considering the cost or resource time. Training is also lagging. And ultimately, they are treating that go live as the end. But go live is not the end, that is the beginning. So from there, we have to start. Whether we are implementing all these things, we are following these things, that is very important to ensure the ERP implemented is giving the benefits. So these are the major 10 topics which I think are the reasons for the failure.
Okay, wonderful. I think now, as you said, the ERPs, there are at several levels, you said. So you said the level 1, level 2, and so on. So there are many ERPs that are available in the market. So now if it is for manufacturing companies, in your experience, which ERPs you think will be more useful to the manufacturing company? Which are the good ones out there?
There is no single answer for this question. As I told, we cannot buy a shoe and fit it to the leg. So it depends. So any ERP should deliver the tangible benefits to the organization, what we are selecting. So a clear business case and business realization plan, they have to be developed when you are selecting the ERP. Like a business strategy, what is the organization strategy, what is the future business plan, all these things have to decide what is the right ERP, and also what is the project cost, what is the maturity of the business level, and what is their future, what they are looking for, and also what kind of advanced functionality they are looking for, like a scheduling or shop floor integration, or they are looking for technology integration. Considering these things, ERPs have to be selected. And also we have to select either it is single ERP or best of breed. This is the general approach you have to take. At the same time, in general, some top 10 ERPs if you take it in general, not analyzing individual team. Maybe the first one, maybe I can say it is SAP S/4HANA, which is giving a lot of benefits to even small scale business, medium scale business, top level enterprise business also. Next is Oracle. And then we have ERP like Microsoft Dynamics is another ERP. And it is having a lot of pre-configured solutions for finance, supply chain management. Then there is Infor, another ERP. Infor. Then we have IFS, that is another ERP which is mainly suitable for aerospace, defense, then contracting, even manufacturing service also they provide. There's another thing, small business. We have some ERPs like Epicor or Acumatica or Syspro or AQMS. There is another ERP called MRP Easy also. It was started as MRP tool, but now they converted to ERP. So there are ERP which are applicable to small business also.
Okay.
Apart from these, maybe near to my one of my neighbors, they are developing ERPs, specific organizations. That is also there.
Right.
There is my road map. Like this, ERPs are there, locally developed.
Right.
And they are challenging a big companies also. These kind of small people, they are challenging the tier 1 ERPs with all the features they have. So it needs a lot of things we have to do to select the right ERP.
Right. Okay. So now the other question is about the knowledge of ERP for the employees of companies. Now, what I notice is that many employees of the companies, whether it's small, big, doesn't matter, they're not much aware about ERPs. And then if they become more aware of ERPs, perhaps I think there will be a pull within the organization for going for a good solution and so on. So how can but I also see some employees who want to learn about the ERPs, but they're not able to. They don't know where to go to learn about ERPs. What do you think, Satyamurthy? How can employees learn about ERPs?
Yeah. So this is an important point, because the purpose of ERP is to make the operations more efficient. So if people do not understand the value or how to use it, then the investment is becoming waste. At the same time, there are many options nowadays. Many options for people to learn. One is that, as you told, people are learning on their own interest. So maybe this is one of also the things which I am also doing now. Because in YouTube, I am publishing on SAP related things. I am publishing some videos. And when people search it, they can see a lot of videos in that. Not only from my side, there are many videos are available. One. Second thing is, they can learn through the ERP what is implemented in their organization. Because already there is ERP. Many people do not even bother about this ERP. They will do the regular activity, but they can take action because it's already there. They will have all the training materials, they will have all the process documents, all this they will have it. Another way is to do some certification ERPs, because there are a lot of certifications, they provide online certification, very cheaper certifications are available. At the same time, from organization point of view, how to inculcate this ERP knowledge into things, where they have to do some best practices to do this kind of ERP training to the people. One is that they have to create an ongoing training plan for this ERP, where they have to assign the ownership of this training program to some people, and also they have to have a detailed program to maintain the pool of qualified trainers out there, and also they have to have the budget estimation for this kind of training, because that's a part of the ERP implementation. And also that they have to identify who are the people to be trained. They have to identify what to be trained. So you have to have the clear time schedule, those things. The second practice, the budget. Budget is very important. So budget, because it is not going to be only the training cost or something like that. And it is going to be the time of the people, how we are going to use the time of the people. So that's what, as I told one of the automobile companies, now they are calling me to train their people. It is like ongoing training which they are going to give. So that is initiative from them to equip their people with a good knowledge in their software which they are operating. And then keep the training manual and process documentation updated. This is very, very important. Many companies that create in training manual and process document, that's it, they forget it. During the go live, they forget it. That's what, even if they implemented SAP or Oracle 5 years back, when you go and ask what is the process documentation, they show the document created in 2015, 2016 today. It is not updated. That is very important to update the process document and also the training documents. And the training materials. Also nowadays, many ERP companies are providing their own training, digital training they are giving it. Because I know more SAP, they are providing Learning Hub as one of the training tools, where this is having all the basic things which people can learn. Only thing we have to prepare a schedule and give it to the people, make it a systematic, people can learn. Because now the ERP companies also started to realize that they have to give all these kind of offer, then only people can use the ERPs in the right way, they will also get it. And once you do all these things, we should also evaluate how the training has been implemented to the people, how it is having impact on the people, whether they're getting the benefit. So these are two things. One is that people should learn on their own. Second, organizations also should take the initiatives as part of the ERP implementation for training. So it is not only from employees, we can say, from organizations also it should happen. So this is also one of the point which is making either the project a success or failure. So this is how the learning of people can happen.
Absolutely.
And now we are asking this training about ERP, how the training is there. I just want to understand how employees can become more of tech savvy, because you talked about the industry 4.0, and also nowadays we are having a lot of technology. You also told now, no, just through Zoom you are learning that how to do this online streaming of these discussions.
Correct.
So like this, how employees can become tech savvy. So maybe these are related things. I just talked about ERP, but as a broad line, how they can become tech savvy.
Yeah. See, actually, my view on this, Timothy, is that already there is a lot of technology that's happening around us. Okay, that is in our personal lives. Okay, so let's say maybe 4-5 years back, I think there was no Swiggy, and Ola and Uber and all. Now it has become such a big part of all of our lives, and because of COVID, now the online shopping, I think just about every home is buying something online. So the online buying has increased manyfold in the last 2 years. So and today the Google Maps is so much part of our lives that it is not just to reach a place, but there are so many other usages that are available in Google Maps, and that and many of them are being used by people. It is not that people are not using. So in the personal lives, I would say all of us are getting exposed to a lot of technology already. All of us are experiencing that. And now the second area where already the technology is being used in a big way is by the government. The last 10 years, if you look at it, I think whether it's central government or state government or Tamil Nadu government, Andhra government, Kerala government, every government has made a huge progress in using technology for improving the services to the people. So today, we can get a ration card sitting in our home. The other day, I went to the district civil supplies office for this was about 1 year back, for ration card. They said, sir, there is nothing that you can do in this office. Now everything is online, so you please apply online. So we applied online. Within 10 days, the card has come home. This was all unthinkable earlier. So we are using technology. I would say people are already tech savvy in that way, because there are a lot of technology which is available, which people are using. But the progress within private companies, the business within business organizations, I think it's been very slow. Okay, so now the employees, whatever they are using at home and all that, they have to learn from that, and then they'll have to look at the applications at office. Okay, and then of course the organization also has to help them in terms of training them in applying the technology. I think that's where people are slow. Not everyone, but some of them are quite fast. Youngsters, I would say, definitely they are fast. So probably the companies can promote the youngsters in terms of when technology project come, and then help the others with some training and so on. So I think by relating it from our personal lives to our work lives, I think we can realize as to what all is possible, and then organizations can also help employees to become more tech savvy.
Right. Right. So meanwhile, I talked about ERP, and also you told about the industry 4.0. You know, how companies are using software in general. Like now, because you are also interacting with them, right? We talked about ERP specific, but in general, how they are using software.
Yeah. So I would say the software usage, generally, I would put it at 3 levels. Okay, one is the basic ERP implementations and so on and so forth, whatever is the foundational stuff. And then next level, some companies can use software for improving the efficiency. So it can be related to productivity related softwares, and then efficiency improving softwares. That is the second tier. And then the third tier, I would say, is using software for a competitive advantage. That is, to become better than my competitor, I'm using software. Okay, now I would say these are the three levels at least where the software can be used. I would say majority of Indian companies are at the bottom level. Okay, many companies would not have implemented the ERP as yet. Like you said, even those companies which you have implemented, probably only 30% would have succeeded. Okay, so if you look at it that way, I think the usage of software is, I would say, it is at a very low level in India. Okay, but let's look at it positively. Now there is a huge opportunity for Indian companies to improve the productivities on the shop floor as well as off the shop floor. That is the staff productivities, multifold. So that's a huge opportunity for us. So probably I think now is the right time for Indian companies to utilize this software help.
Right. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So apart from this software, a lot of technologies are evolving. A lot of emerging technologies are there. We talk about artificial intelligence, blockchain. So how companies can realize the power of this technology?
Definitely, I think when we talk about the leveraging the power of technology, I would say that is at that third level which I was talking about. That is using it for gaining a competitive advantage in the market. At that level, if companies are looking at it, I would say Indian companies will have to start looking at having some big goals. Usually, we are careful in terms of taking goals. But if you look at it, the companies are growing at a very high speed. No two ways about that. But that is happening because of the market, not because companies are aspiring. Okay, some companies are aspiring. I'm not saying no. But what I'm saying is the companies have to look at taking some big goals in terms of efficiency improvement or in terms of improving the service to the customers or in terms of totally transforming the way they work. Okay, if they are able to take these big goals, then what happens is they will start looking for the technology. Okay, because you may not be able to achieve the big goal without the use of technology. So then that's the right way. Then it is pulling the technology. So I need artificial intelligence to help my customers to, let us say, find the right product within my range. Okay, their requirements versus my product, what it can give. To match that, probably I think artificial intelligence can take the requirements, go beyond what is given, and then suggest them the right product. Like that, if they have a usage, if they have a need, so then the technology, I'm sure it is available. Or if something has to be developed, I think there are enough companies to develop it. So I would say the companies have to start thinking big. I think that's the first step, I would say. And then enough technology is available for companies to use. So I think these are the ways in which, Satyamurthy, I think definitely companies can, yes, I think ERP is a big subject. So I think you were pointing out the various steps in selecting a good ERP and then various pitfalls that are there in terms of implementation of ERP. I think it was a good conversation, and I think a lot of people would have got some clarity. And now at IMA, as you know, we are started getting involved into this software and then technology project implementation. So I'm able to see that manufacturing companies, the interest levels are up now. Especially, I would say in Tamil Nadu, I would definitely say companies in Tamil Nadu are getting this interest, because I'm not dealing a lot outside Tamil Nadu, but I can see some other place also. I think companies are getting this interest into the software and then usage of technology. So let's hope that this small conversation that we are having now will raise the interest levels of some of the executives who are working with manufacturing companies, and let's hope they will take it up. They will speed up the implementation of software in these companies. I think
Many companies have burned their fingers, and also they put a lot of money and they wasted because they are looking for a cheaper investing partner or cheaper product, something like they are putting in, or they buy a new big product, but they're putting a very cheap partners to implement it.
yes.
Also, one of the failure is that they are not selecting the right partner, and even if they select the partner, they don't have the right consultants to implement it. So this is the right time, which is giving some awareness to the people that they should do the right systematic approach to implement ERP, which is the first step towards their technology achievements. This is the first step they have to take and proceed. Yes.
Absolutely. So thank you for talking to me today, Satyamurthy. I think I hope this will help everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Bye.
So we'll sign off now. Thank you.
Bye.